Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the stock market update video. And we have a lot to talk about today after Jay Powell's meeting today. And we can see that today was a rate hold decision. Everybody knew that coming in, but he was a little bit more hawkish during his speech. And currently, we're still pricing in for a rate hold for the rest of the year, but there's a little bit of increasing probability of another hike after he suggested that that they may potentially have another hike later this year. So we'll see about that. And essentially now we are pretty much pricing in a rate hold all the way to June of 2024. So we'll see what happens on the next meeting. It's actually not that far away, November 1st, just 5 weeks away. And we get another CPI data coming in as well in October. So that's also be important. All right, take a look. So rate hikes aren't good for tech stocks. So obviously we had a little bit of sell-off into end of the day, and we've broken this uptrending resist support looking line here. So we have a couple of touches, another one down here as well. So let's delete that. So we have confirmed a daily downtrend as well. So this was an initial move, bounced above the prior candle, and today we confirmed the daily downtrend after breaking yesterday's low. Closed pretty much right at support. You can see we have support here at 365 level and 364 zone. All these rejections here from June 30th to 23rd to all the way to 30th, as well as strong resistance there. When we're above it, you can see act as strong support. So when we come down to it, there's a good chance that we may potentially temporary bounce here a little bit. If the bears want to take it lower, we still need when we get a slight bounce, they can still take it lower. If we do break this 364 support zone, once we break that, we're coming back into this structure here. And yeah, I don't really see us go below 360 that much or that fast, but we'll see tomorrow happens. Let's take a look at the weekly charts here. Yeah, weekly looking more like a tiny range, like equilibrium forming up. Even though our uptrending line is gone, it still is above the prior pivot, right? So even if this comes down all the way here, we're still tightening up into end of the year potentially on the weekly chart. So you guys know I've been talking about this tightening range for quite a while. And so this drop wasn't too surprising or out of the norm. And maybe potentially better. We'll see if the bulls can hold 360. That's definitely a really key level for the bulls, as well as this 364 zone. It's a 2 zone that I'll be looking at for we to get a bounce back. Bulls. Early trend will be our guide. Early downtrend intact ever since over here from yesterday, and still continuing. And no signs of bounce at the moment. Closed at right on support at the low of the day. See how tomorrow, if we get a gap down right to 360 and 361, then that's a good short-term buying opportunity for a scalp trade for a temporary bounce to just get in and get out, and then see how that bounce ends up shaping up. If we end up shaping up an hourly uptrend from that level, then we can more potentially say this could be a bottom. But as of now, we will have to see how that bounces. All right, let's take a look at SPY. So SPY here, same thing, broke below the uptrending support zone line, and delete that, and pretty much just shy above its 438 support as well. So this is a key support zone. So SPY goes over there. Let's see if it tests it after hours. Yeah, pretty much. 438.25. So yeah, pretty much touched the support after hours. You can see a slight bounce there, but there's not much volume after hours. So we'll have to wait till tomorrow to see if the bulls can hold that level and tighten up. Same thing. See, tightening range up and down. Now, if we hold that level tomorrow, then it bounces, then we're just tightening up into October. And the currently the most likely scenario for me at the moment. Let's see, move, bounce, slightly an ugly looking, but we'll see. Rejected from the 12 EMA as well. Still looking line. Yeah, hourly trend will be our guide. So if it continues on the bounces and forms a lower high each time it bounces, then it will just keep continuing. If it means the high, each high it forms is lower than prior one. That's why it's called lower high. And so that will be our guide at the moment because there's zero signs of bounce yet. So we can't. I want to see tomorrow when we actually test this 438 during market open hours to see what kind of volume comes in, how they play defense there. Give us more clue. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. So everybody has pretty similar price actions. End of the day flush. And although Tesla is holding a lot better because you can see we did not break yesterday's low. So daily uptrend still intact. See uptrend. Big bounce. Although we kind of dropped, but we did not break below yesterday's low. So if we don't break yesterday's low, 261.2, that means daily uptrend still intact. If we do that tomorrow, break it, and then delete, it confirms a daily downtrend. Now, don't have that yet. So QQQ pretty much closed on strong support there, right? If we bounce at 364 tomorrow, then Tesla will likely bounce from there and negate that daily downtrend. But if we get in one more day and flush to 360, right, this will come from a daily downtrend and likely fill this gap and come to 251. That's what I'll be looking at for Tesla. Yeah, same thing. Flush end of the day. Let's take a look. So we're back testing this uptrending Merlin looking line. So it's same thing, equilibrium, same idea, but Nvidia has been relatively weak ever since we tested that 500 level 5 times. You can see daily downtrend already confirmed back in September 11th, and it's just continuing. No signs of it reversing yet. And it still didn't break Monday's low, but it's getting close, and we're pretty much just close right on that Merlin looking support line. So we're close to 420 as well. So tomorrow, if we come down to 420, bounce, get a lower wick, and bounce up, that means that bulls are serious about playing defense in this area because we have tested it already on Monday. So likely testing it again tomorrow. Hourly trend will be our guide. Yeah, we pretty much tested in after hours, 420. So this needs to bounce. Zoom into the 5 minutes to see if it bounced there or not slightly. Yeah, a little bit right there. So pretty much I want to see it starts to bounce into tomorrow during the morning. And once the market opens, see more follow through. Yeah, did that in after hours already. We'll see about if they can do it. Already tested that. All right, let's look at Apple. So Apple, I talked about this tiny range as well, but just a lot bigger than everyone else's. And still tightening up. If I can't get over 180, we're likely coming back down and retest it again. 2% down day. Okay, relatively weaker today. So if we don't hold 175, we're going to come down to test this mirror looking support again. Bottom of this tiny range. Close at low of its day, and let's take a look. Also tested its support, bounced as well. So a lot of these names are pretty much closed exactly at the low of the day, right on the support. And then even if we get a candle like this, doesn't mean much. Even though they all did bounce slightly like that, doesn't mean much to me at the moment. I want to see a bigger bounce and a hourly trend change for us to safely say that they actually bounce off of all their support, just like QQQ did. We need to see more follow through on that bounce. Otherwise, it's meaningless. It could just be like that, right? Just like this bounce here forms a lower high. Each time is lower, all these bounces. So these kind of bounces are meaningless unless we get some trend changes back to our favor. Let's see if Apple can hold this 175 zone and give us some big enough bounce and change the trend to the hourly uptrend or not. If not, then we're coming back down to test this mirror looking line. On relative weak average since it hit us 145. Sorry, yeah, 145. 1.7, 1.6 drop. Funny thing is still in a daily uptrend. Because this is the move. This is the pivot being set, which is a huge move up. The pivot was still here. And this was just one initial move. You can call this either a higher low pivot being set, and this is a daily downtrend, or just call it a double top, and this is one initial move, depending on you guys. But regardless of that, there's already a ton of room now. 7% drop, where on any kind of bounces, bears have room to shape up that daily downtrend. So, let's see, close and low of the day, pretty much at support. You can see this is the top of this structure. We're currently at that level. So that needs that can support as well. Let's zoom into the 5 minutes, take a look. Not. Nope, no signs of anything at this moment. So if it holds tomorrow, goes back up, then we can potentially say that is also the low of the structure as well. Google. So Google lead bear today. It's didn't get a quadruple top. Actually, it's 5 times. It's penta. No signs of red flags until today, and it was in a daily uptrend. Couldn't get over this level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then with today's weakness and FOMC meeting, gives the bears a opportunity to break all those lows right there. Sideways range, break the low of the range, get more follow through. Very clear. See, once we broke that range sideways, see all these bear volume coming. We didn't even have one single green candle today other than this one. Google, you can see all the other ones bounce slightly along the way. So Google is a lead bear today, and potentially more downside tomorrow, because although we are pretty much at the top of the other structure, see the top of the structure, that's going to act as support. So we pretty much came down from the top of the structure to this bottom of the chop zone. So every time it has a zone to chop, and this is a new zone to chop, so I want to see it bounce from 133.55. I want to see it bounce from right here, pretty much around this zone for Google. Broke out of the range as well. Let's delete this. A second here. Let's see if we can make a new one. Although we can't put that one as it's not bad actually. Coinciding with all these. Where is this from? April. Although we can't say this one is in, sure, because we pretty much just closed at the low of the day. So if we just get a small candle down there, then we already get through it, right? But just a visual guide overall for the tiny range, because this is still higher than this. So it's still a tiny range, right? As long as this downside move does not go below this low, it's still a tiny range into end of the year. So see if it continues into October. And let's zoom in to see. Let's see if we're as close to support already. It's 320. Yeah, 320 has some support along the way. Some here as well. So 320 breaks. and breaks that line, we're coming back down to 318. And hourly trend will be our guide as well. Also a lead bear today. No hourly chart, 0 green candles. You can see flush to the low of the day. Probably get a bounce tomorrow here and form a bear. If we want to go lower, probably going to form a bear flag because this is a pretty quick drop. So even if we bounce tomorrow in the morning to this 324, and then if the bear wants to take it lower, they would form a bear flag like that on the hourly charts. Probably needs a little bit of bounce to cool things off. If they want, even if it wants to head lower, it still needs some kind of bounce. It goes straight down like that, even after going down this much already. All these bounces along the way, right? After a big drop, some bounces, another one. All right, let's take a look at Meta. Okay, so still in the zone, but let's take a look here. Big enough drop, early uptrend back to the uptrend, tried, almost got to the top of 310, and then FOMC meeting took over and flushed. Hourly trend isn't a neutral. It's just a big enough drop. They haven't confirmed an hourly downtrend yet. Daily, same thing. Big enough drop. This is the bounce, the pivot being set. We did not break Monday's low. So daily trend is still intact. Minus the, it's back in a neutral. So this was a uptrend. Here's a pivot over here. So we broke below the pivot. So it's in a neutral trend. It's not in a downtrend yet until we break Monday's low, which is close to 297.8. So before we break that, no huge red flags, but at the moment it's starting. I mean, all these tech stocks are shaping up pretty bad, right? So we get another red day on QQQ. This may get followed through. But if QQQ bounce exactly off that support level where we closed, then everything else as well may bounce because there's a couple of them that are already sitting right on support zone, their first level support zone. If that breaks, we're going to the next one right away. So we'll see if we bounce first thing in the morning from that first support zone for most of these tech stocks. If not, probably more downside. And if we get more downside, a lot of these names would confirm daily downtrends, which increases the downside momentum, right? Then we may head a little bit lower for another leg down for the market. Momentum works. All right, that's all I got for you guys. I will update you guys again tomorrow. And I did the commodities update video already just ahead of this one. Check that out if you guys want to. And there's natural gas, gold, silver, and the dollar. And if you guys learn anything, feel free to subscribe, like, and share. And I always appreciate it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of you guys' day.